Welcome to my channel, Lobby 22. Hold on because it's going to be something incredible. Nathan Harper stood frozen in the sterile glow of a Seattle hospital room, his phone burning in his clenched fist. The antiseptic air choked him as he stared at his wife, Claire, cradling their newborn daughter, Lily. Claire's face, flushed with exhaustion and joy, glowed as she cooed at the tiny bundle swaddled in a soft white blanket. Her brown eyes sparkled, oblivious to the storm raging in Nathan's chest. How could she smile, knowing what she's done? He thought, his jaw tightening. Around them, Claire's mother, Ellen, beamed, her voice soft as she marveled at Lily's delicate features. Nathan's sister, Rachel, a sharp-eyed lawyer, lingered by the window, her gaze flicking to Nathan with unease. She'd seen that look before, cold, resolute, like a man standing on a precipice. The room hummed with quiet celebration until a nurse entered, her tablet casting a faint glow. "Mr. Harper, we need you to sign the birth certificate," she said, her tone warm but routine. Nathan's voice sliced through the air, low and deliberate. "Not until I know the truth about Lily." He held up his phone, his eyes locked on Claire. "I need a DNA test before I claim her as mine." The words detonated like a grenade. Claire's head snapped up, her arms tightening around Lily, who stirred against her chest. Her mouth fell open, eyes wide with shock, as if Nathan had struck her. "What are you saying, Nathan?" she stammered, her voice trembling with fury and disbelief. "You think I'd betray you?" Her cheeks flushed, her grip on Lily so fierce the baby whimpered. Ellen gasped, her hand flying to her mouth, while Rachel's eyes widened, her gaze darting between them. The hum of the hospital monitors grew deafening in the silence. Nathan raised a hand, silencing the room. His voice was calm, stripped of warmth. "I don't think, Claire." "I know." He tapped his phone, his movement slow, almost theatrical. "3 months ago, you texted Derek Voss, your coworker. Nathan can't know about our plan." Claire's face drained of color, her lips parted, but no sound came. Ellen stepped forward, her voice quaking. "Nathan, this is no time for accusations. Claire just gave birth, think of Lily." Rachel, less restrained, pointed at her brother. "Nathan, are you doing this? You're tearing her apart in front of everyone. Have you lost it?" Nathan's gaze never left Claire. Her breathing was uneven, her hands clutching Lily like a shield. Tears welled in her eyes, but he saw it, the flicker of guilt she couldn't hide. "Claire," he said, his voice cutting through the tension like a blade, "should I call Derek right now? Ask him to explain this message?" "No," she gasped, her voice cracking. "It's not what you think." Her eyes darted to the floor, unable to meet his. "I didn't do anything wrong, Nathan, I swear." He unfolded a hand, holding a printed screenshot from his private investigator, holding it up. "Then why did Derek send me this?" "He wanted me to know, Claire. He thought it'd break us apart for good." His voice stayed steady, but his knuckles whitened around the paper. "I've known for 3 months. I waited until Lily was born to protect her. But now? It's time for the truth." Claire's sob broke the silence, raw and ragged, her cries muffled as she buried her face in Lily's blanket. "Where did you get that?" she whispered, tears streaming. "How?" "Derek betrayed you," Nathan said simply, letting the paper flutter to the floor. "Just like you betrayed me." Ellen's shoulders shook, her eyes wide with shock. Rachel's face crumpled, her defense faltering. Claire's cries grew quieter, her gaze pleading, but Nathan turned away. "I hired a private investigator, Liam Carter, 3 months ago," he said, his tone flat. "I have emails, texts, even records of your meetings with Derek. I know everything." He looked at Claire, whose sobs had quieted into a broken whimper. "If this proves Lily's mine, I'll be her father. If not, I'm done. With her. With you." The room fell silent, the weight of his words suffocating. Ellen held her face, but her eyes were distant, grappling with the truth. Claire's gaze met Nathan's, pleading, but he stepped toward the door. "I've already contacted my lawyer," he said, addressing the room. "Claire, your things will be at your mother's by tomorrow. Don't come back to her home." He paused, his back to them. "I'll wait for the DNA results. Until then, don't contact me." As he strode into the hallway, the nurse lingered, her eyes soft with sympathy. Nathan didn't acknowledge her. His phone buzzed, a text from Liam, "Found more on Derek. He's planning something big. Want to dig deeper?" Nathan's lips pressed into a thin line. He typed back, "Yes. Get everything." He walked on, the fluorescent lights casting long shadows. Claire's secret had cracked something in him, but he wasn't broken. Not yet. This was just the beginning. Nathan Harper stood in the dim light of his Seattle home, the city skyline a cold shimmer through the floor-to-ceiling windows. The modern space, once alive with Claire's laughter and their shared dreams, felt like a hollow shell. His phone buzzed on the glass coffee table, but he ignored it. Ellen's pleas and Rachel's warnings could wait. In his hand was a manila envelope from his lawyer, Mia Chin, containing divorce papers. Nathan's chest tightened, not with grief but with a burning resolve. She thought she could hide this, he mused, replaying Claire's tear-streaked face in the hospital. But the truth was unraveling, and he would pull every thread. A sharp knock broke his thoughts. Claire stood at the door, her eyes red-rimmed, her coat thrown over hospital scrubs. She clutched a small bag, her knuckles pale. "Nathan, please," she said, her voice raw. "Let me explain. Don't end us like this." He stepped aside, not out of mercy but curiosity. What could she say to justify her lies? Claire shuffled in, dropping the bag by the couch, her gaze sweeping the room as if searching for remnants of their life. "I messed up," she began, words spilling fast. "I was lost, Nathan. You were always at the office, building your startup. I felt alone. Derek, he was there, listening, promising to help with your company." Nathan's jaw clenched, but his voice stayed even. "Listening? That's your excuse for plotting against me." He crossed his arms, leaning against the counter. "You texted Derek to keep your plan secret. What was it, Claire? What were you hiding?" Her face crumpled, tears welling. "It wasn't what you think. Derek said he could secure investors for your startup, make it bigger. I trusted him." But then she hesitated, her voice breaking. "He started manipulating me, saying I owed him. I ended it when I realized his real plan, to sabotage you." Nathan's eyes narrowed. "Sabotage?" He pulled a folder from the envelope, tossing it onto the table. Emails and financial records spilled out, evidence from his PI, Liam Carter. "These show you and Derek funneled $50,000 from my company's accounts. You expect me to believe you were just lonely?" Claire's breath hitched as she stared at the papers, her hands trembling. "I didn't know. Derek handled the transfers. He said it was for a deal to save your startup." Her voice rose, desperate. "I was stupid, Nathan, but I didn't mean to hurt you. I love you." "Love?" Nathan's laugh was bitter, sharp. "You loved me while meeting Derek in secret? While letting me think Lily was mine?" He stepped closer, his voice low. "I have records of your lunches, your late-night calls. Liam's thorough. You don't get to rewrite this." Claire sank onto the couch, burying her face in her hands. "He tricked me," she whispered. "When I got pregnant, I cut him off. I wanted us to work, Nathan. For Lily." The mention of Lily stung, but Nathan's resolve held. "Lily's not mine, Claire. You knew that risk and said nothing." He turned to the window, the city lights blurring. "Sign the divorce papers. Your things will be at your mother's tomorrow." A tense silence stretched until his phone buzzed again. A text from Liam, "Derek's deeper in this. Found emails, he's blackmailing Claire to keep her quiet. Want me to push harder?" Nathan's pulse quickened. Blackmail? The game had shifted. He typed back, "Dig up everything. I want his next move." Claire's voice broke the quiet, barely audible. "Nathan, there's more. Derek, he has something on me. A contract I signed, thinking it was for your company. He says he'll ruin me if I talk." Her eyes met his, pleading. "Help me stop him." Nathan froze, his mind racing. Was she playing him, or was Derek the true puppet master? "What contract?" he demanded, his tone sharp. She hesitated, then pulled a crumpled paper from her bag, a forged agreement tying Claire to Derek's shady deals. "He made me sign this months ago. I didn't know it implicated me in his fraud." Nathan snatched the paper, scanning it. His startup's logo was there, forged alongside Claire's signature. If this surfaced, it could tank his company and her future. "You're telling me this now?" he said, his voice low, dangerous. "After lying for months?" "I was scared." Claire sobbed. "Derek said he'd destroy us both if I told you." Nathan's phone buzzed again, another text from Liam. "Derek's meeting a lawyer tonight. Planning to pin the fraud on Claire. Location attached." Nathan's lips curved into a grim line. Derek thought he could outmaneuver him, frame Claire, and walk away. He was wrong. "I'll handle Derek," Nathan said, his voice cold. "But this changes nothing between us, Claire. You made your choices." He opened the door, gesturing her out. "Go. We're done." Claire stumbled into the hall, her cries echoing. Nathan closed the door, his mind already on Derek. He dialed Mia Chin. "Mia, we've got a bigger problem. Derek's framing Claire for fraud. I need you to bury him, legally." Mia's voice was sharp, ready. "Send me everything. If Derek's playing dirty, we'll end him." Nathan stood alone, the city's hum a backdrop to his resolve. Claire's betrayal had cracked his trust, but Derek's schemes were a new battlefield. He wasn't just fighting for his marriage's ruins, he was fighting for his company, his future. And Derek would learn what it cost to cross him. Nathan Harper sat in the shadowed corner of his new Belltown apartment, the Seattle skyline a muted glow beyond the window. Boxes cluttered the sparse space, a testament to his uprooted life. His laptop screen cast a harsh light, displaying emails from his private investigator, Liam Carter, proof of Derek Voss's fraud against Nathan's tech startup. Nathan's fingers tightened on the armrest. Derek thought he could frame Claire and ruin me. He thought the forged contract Claire had shown him burning in his memory. But tonight, Nathan would strike back. His phone buzzed. Mia Chen, his lawyer, her voice crisp. Nathan, I've reviewed Liam's evidence. Derek's transfers are tied to a shell company. We can nail him for embezzlement, but we need more to prove he coerced Claire. What's your next move? Send the financials to Derek's employer, Nathan said, his tone steady. Anonymously. Let them see who he really is. He paused, glancing at a text from Liam. Derek's at a bar with his lawyer, planning to leak the contract to the press. Meet me in 30. Nathan's pulse quickened. Derek was moving fast, but Nathan was faster. He grabbed his coat and headed to the bar, a sleek downtown spot pulsing with chatter. Liam, a wiry man with sharp eyes, waited in a booth, sliding a tablet across. Derek's lawyer is dirty, Liam whispered. Found texts, they're fabricating evidence to pin the fraud on Claire. Derek's betting you'll back off to protect her. Nathan's jaw tightened. He's wrong. He scanned the bar, spotting Derek at a corner table laughing with a slick-suited man. The sight ignited a cold fury. Derek had manipulated Claire, threatened Nathan's company, and now aimed to destroy them both. Not tonight. Send the texts to Mia, Nathan told Liam. She'll use them to discredit the lawyer. He typed a message to his sister, Rachel, a cybersecurity expert. Need you to trace Derek's shell company. Fast. Rachel's reply was instant. On it. Give me an hour. Back at his apartment, Nathan paced as Mia called. The tip worked, she said, her voice edged with triumph. Derek's firm fired him this morning. They're auditing his deals. But the press leak is still a threat. If that contract goes public, your startup stock will tank. Nathan exhaled, his mind racing. Can we block the leak? Working on it, Mia said. But Claire needs to come clean. If she testifies against Derek, we can prove coercion and save your company. Nathan's chest tightened at Claire's name. Her betrayal, signing that contract, hiding Derek's plan, still stung. Yet her fear in their last confrontation had seemed real. Was she a victim or a liar? He pushed the thought aside. I'll talk to her, he said, hanging up. A knock startled him. Claire stood at the door, her face pale, eyes hollow. Nathan, I heard Derek was fired, she said, stepping inside. He called me furious. Said I'd regret crossing him. Her hands shook as she clutched her phone. He sent me this. She showed a draft article, the forged contract attached, accusing Claire of fraud. It's going live tomorrow unless I meet him tonight. Nathan's blood ran cold. Derek wasn't just framing her, he was cornering her. You're not meeting him, he said, his voice firm. Give me the phone. He forwarded the article to Mia, adding, stop this leak. Now. Claire's eyes met his, pleading. Nathan, I'll testify. I'll tell the police everything, how Derek tricked me, the threats. Just, help me protect Lily. Her voice cracked. She's all I have left. The mention of Lily hit Nathan like a punch. The DNA test loomed, but her innocence gnawed at him. I'll protect her, he said, surprising himself. But you need to face the truth, Claire. You let Derek in. You hid this from me. Tears streamed down her face. I know, she whispered. I was weak. I thought I was saving us. I'm so sorry. Nathan turned away, his resolve wavering. Before he could respond, his phone lit up. Rachel's text, traced the shell company. Derek's been siphoning funds for years. Found a new player, his lawyers tied to a rival firm. They're targeting your startup. Nathan's heart pounded. Derek wasn't alone. A rival company was pulling strings, using Derek to destroy Nathan's work. He dialed Liam. Derek's lawyer's working for a competitor. Get me proof. Liam's reply was grim, already on it. But Derek's desperate. He's planning to flee Seattle tonight. Nathan stared at Claire, her sobs quieting. Derek's empire was crumbling, but he was slipping away. Nathan had hours to act or lose everything. Claire, he said, his voice hard. You're coming with me. We end this now. Nathan Harper gripped the steering wheel, the Seattle rain blurring the city lights as he drove toward the waterfront. Claire sat beside him, her face pale, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. The forged contract, Derek Voss's blackmail, and his plan to flee weighed heavy. Nathan's phone buzzed on the dashboard. Liam Carter, his PI, with an urgent text. Derek's at the docks, meeting his lawyer. They're moving funds offshore. Cops are 20 minutes out. Nathan's jaw tightened. He's not slipping away. Stay calm, Nathan told Claire, his voice steady despite the storm in his chest. You'll tell the police everything. Derek's threats, the contract. No more secrets. Claire nodded, her eyes glistening. I will, she whispered. For Lily. For us. The mention of Lily stirred a pang in Nathan. The DNA test results were due soon, but her innocence anchored him. He glanced at Claire, her fear palpable. Was she finally telling the truth, or was this another layer of deception? He pushed the thought aside as they neared the docks, the sodium lights casting eerie shadows over crates and ships. Liam waited in a dark alley, his coat slick with rain. Derek's in that warehouse, he said, pointing to a rusted building. His lawyer's with him, transferring funds to a Cayman account. Rachel's hacking their server, she's close to locking it down. Nathan's sister had traced Derek's shell company to a rival firm, Nexus Tech, aiming to tank Nathan's startup. This was bigger than Derek now. Nathan turned to Claire. Stay here. If anything goes wrong, call me. She grabbed his arm, her voice desperate. Be careful, Nathan. Derek's unhinged. Her concern felt genuine, but Nathan pulled away. Just do your part, he said, stepping into the rain with Liam. Inside the warehouse, the air was damp, the hum of a laptop breaking the silence. Derek stood at a table, his face taut, arguing with his lawyer, a sharp-featured man named Kessler. We need to move now. Derek snapped. Harper's on to us. Kessler smirked. Relax. Once the funds clear, Nexus will bury his company. Claire's signature seals it. Nathan's blood boiled. He stepped forward, his voice cutting through. It's over, Derek. Both men spun around, Derek's eyes narrowing. Harper, he sneered. You're too late. The money's gone and Claire's taking the fall. Nathan held up his phone, displaying Rachel's text, funds frozen. Nexus server locked. Derek's face drained of color. You're bluffing, he growled, but Kessler's panic betrayed the truth. Check the account. Kessler barked, fumbling with the laptop. Liam slipped behind them, snapping photos of the screen. Got it, he muttered to Nathan. Derek lunged for Liam, but Nathan blocked him, his voice cold. The police are coming. You're done. Derek's smirk returned, chilling. You think Nexus will let you win? They'll ruin you, Harper. And Claire? She's theirs now. Before Nathan could respond, sirens wailed. Derek shoved Kessler aside, bolting for a side door. Stop him. Liam shouted, but Nathan froze, Derek's words echoing. Claire's theirs. Was she still hiding something? He sprinted after Derek, rain lashing his face, but the man vanished into the dock's maze. Police cars screeched to a halt, officers swarming. Kessler was cuffed, cursing as Liam handed over the photos. Back at the car, Claire's eyes widened as Nathan approached, soaked and grim. They got Kessler, he said. Derek escaped, but the funds are frozen. Claire exhaled, trembling. Thank you, Nathan. I'll testify. I swear. He studied her, searching for lies, but found only exhaustion. You'd better, he said, driving her to the station. Hours later, at his apartment, Nathan sank into a chair, the DNA results email glaring on his screen. Lily is not your biological daughter. The words hit like a quiet thunderclap, expected but heavy. He exhaled, his resolve unshaken. Lily wasn't his, but he wouldn't abandon her, not like Claire had abandoned him. Mia called, her voice brisk. Kessler's talking. He's implicating Nexus. Claire's testimony will seal it. But Derek's in the wind and Nexus won't stop. Nathan's grip tightened on the phone. Then we hit them harder, he said. A text from Rachel flashed, found Derek's burner phone. He's meeting a Nexus exec tomorrow. Want to set a trap? Nathan's lips curved faintly. Derek had underestimated him and Nexus would too. But a new doubt gnawed, Claire's role. Had she known about Nexus all along? He typed back to Rachel, set it up. We end this. As dawn broke, Nathan stared at the city, a new fire kindling. The truth was close, but at what cost? Nathan Harper stood in the crisp air of Seattle's Fremont Park, sunlight filtering through ancient oaks. It was spring 2030, 3 years since the hospital bombshell that shattered his marriage to Claire. Now 37, Nathan was steadier, his navy jacket and calm posture reflecting a man at peace. Beside him, Ava, a nonprofit director with warm brown eyes, squeezed his hand. They'd met at a community fundraiser, her compassion breaking through Nathan's walls. Today, they were here for a milestone, Nathan's first meeting with Lily, now 5, arranged through Claire's therapist, not as a father, but as a positive figure in her life. Across the park, Claire approached, pushing Lily's stroller. She looked older, her face softer, free of the guilt that once defined her. Beside her walked Tom, a kind high school teacher she'd dated for a year. Nathan's heart steadied as Ava's touch grounded him. Claire stopped a few feet away, her smile cautious. Nathan, thank you for coming, she said, her voice gentle. Lily knows you're someone special from my past. I told her you're a good man. Nathan crouched to Lily's level, her brown eyes sparkling with curiosity. Hey, Lily, he said, his voice warm. Like swings? She nodded, a shy smile breaking through. With Claire's nod, Nathan led Lily to the swings, Ava trailing with a reassuring glance. Lily's giggles filled the air as Nathan pushed, a sound that stirred hope, not pain. He wasn't her father, but he could be a memory of kindness, a choice forged in therapy to heal, not harden. Later, at a picnic table, Lily napped in her stroller. Claire spoke, her voice steady. I've changed, Nathan. Therapy helped me see why I fell for Derek's lies. I was lost, craving control. I hurt you, and I'm sorry. She met his gaze, unflinching. Testifying against Derek and Nexus was my amends. Nathan leaned back, the memory of that day sharp. 3 years ago, he'd set a trap with Rachel's help, tracking Derek's burner phone to a meeting with a Nexus executive. Liam had tipped the police, who arrested Derek mid-deal, seizing evidence of Nexus's plot to sabotage Nathan's startup. Claire's testimony, detailing Derek's coercion and the forged contract, had sealed their fate. Derek faced prison and Nexus settled out of court, saving Nathan's company. But a final twist had stunned him. Claire had slipped Mia a hidden email proving Nexus's CEO knew of the scheme, a move that turned the case. Had she planned redemption all along? You surprised me, Nathan admitted, his tone thoughtful. That email changed everything. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Claire's eyes softened. I needed to face my mistakes first. I owed you that. Nathan nodded, glancing at Ava, who smiled. I'm not here for you, Claire, he said. I'm here for Lily. And for me to let go. He paused. I've moved on. I'm happy. I hope you are. Claire's tear fell, but she smiled. I am. Tom's good for us. We're building something real. She hesitated. If you want to see Lily again, the door's open. Nathan looked at Lily, sleeping peacefully. I'll think about it, he said, honest. One step at a time. He stood, offering Ava his hand. Take care, Claire. You too, Tom. As they walked away, Ava leaned into him. You okay? She asked, her voice soft. Yeah, Nathan said, the truth settling in. I'm good. The park faded behind them, Seattle's pulse a steady backdrop. His phone buzzed, a text from Mia, now a friend. Startup stock hit a record high. Drinks to celebrate? Nathan grinned, pocketing the phone. That night, in his apartment, Nathan opened a box from Rachel, who'd moved to San Francisco. Inside was her old legal badge, a nod to her role in Derek's downfall. A note read, You're tougher than you know, bro, keep shining. Nathan's eyes stung, but he smiled. Rachel's tech skills had saved him, a quiet justice mirroring his own. He set the badge on a shelf, a reminder of resilience. Claire's betrayal had scarred him, but it hadn't won. Derek was gone, Nexus humbled, and Lily would grow up loved. With Ava, Nathan built a life of trust, volunteering at Fremont's community center. His therapy journal lay open, a final entry scrawled, Pain shaped me, but I chose hope. Nathan stepped onto his balcony, the skyline alive with possibility. A last buzz from Liam, Nexus CEO, resigned. Case closed. Nathan typed back, closed. For the first time in years, he was whole.